How you are going to turn your founder education into unignorable emails. Now, let me tell you a story from this morning, because listen, I went in my closet and I'm like, okay, what am I going to wear today? But then I saw this white dress and I'm like, I don't remember getting this dress. So I asked my husband, did you get me this dress? And he's like, yes, I wanted to surprise you. And I'm like, oh, great, because I am very much surprised. See, you have assets sitting in your Google Drive, case studies that you haven't even written down from clients. You just threw them in a Google Drive. Maybe you didn't throw them in a Google Drive. Maybe your virtual assistant has been reminding you, your AI agents have been reminding you, hey, you have this testimonial here, you have this case study that needs to be written, but you're not leveraging every asset in your business. But you're also feeling exhausted, like, what's happening? I'm on the content marketing hamster wheel, but it seems like people are not listening to me, or they're not interested in my emails. Maybe you think you're hitting the spam filter. It's time to take inventory. First, you have to audit, but then you have to take inventory of the assets that you have in your business. Too many times, we as entrepreneurs look at our businesses and we do not see digital content as assets. We don't see that conversation that we had with the client last Tuesday during lunchtime as an asset. We don't see our data as an asset. And so we let these things flow down the river of forgetfulness. And when you let your assets flow down the river of forgetfulness, guess what? Your audience also lets you flow down the river of forgetfulness, because they're visiting your homepage. They're interested in what you offer. But when your copy is not strategically placed on your website, when your sales pages aren't strategically written, then everything falls apart, because the once beautiful business that you had turns into a business that becomes a little bit more quiet than you would like. And that's what I've been seeing in 2026 with clients. Clients come to me and every single person wants to pivot. But there's a couple of questions I ask before people ask to pivot or decide that they want to pivot. I say, okay, well, what makes you want to pivot? What's the data say? What are your current clients saying? What are your current clients doing? What are they going through? Is there actual proof, product marketing launch proof, that somebody wants you to pivot, or that it makes sense for you to pivot in these times? And typically it's not a full pivot that's needed, to be quite honest with you, especially when you've been in business 5 to 10 years. It's less about pivoting and more about switching your position. And if you're like, what does that mean? Switching your position is articulating yourself differently. So if you're a therapist who deals with clients who have anxiety, and you say, hey, therapists of 15 years, our firm helps people who have anxiety, that's a rather boring elevator pitch. And so instead, what if you said something like, you've been having panic attacks because you just got through a divorce. This is our specialty, right? That's so much more specific. And the pivot isn't really the service, because they're still offering the same anxiety support service. But now the positioning, the type of client you're attracting, gets so specific that the positioning did the pivot for you. So that's what you need to do. You need to let your position do the pivoting for you. And if you're like, well, how do I make that happen? Because it sounds good, right? But you're sitting here looking at your elevator pitch, maybe even looking at your emails. You should be looking at your emails, deciding, where do I sound too generic? Where can I fix this up? This is the strategic and often uncomfortable work that we do inside the copy system. Now, my clients sign on with me for retainers. That's done for you, email copywriting. VIP days, that's strategy and implementation for them to write their own emails and to have me write portions of their next funnel. But the copy system is a group intensive spanning 6 weeks. We are getting more done in 6 weeks than you get done in 90 days for your marketing implementation. What does that look like? A 5 email welcome sequence that is positioned differently, not for a total pivot. This is going to be a different position in your marketplace based on your data. What's next? Your homepage, because your homepage has to be rewritten. A lot of times I will partner with other marketing agencies. That has been a theme throughout my 10-year tenure as an email marketing specialist, as a social media specialist, as a content marketing agency. I often partner with marketing agencies. And I love partnering with marketing agencies because when we work together, the agencies are like, hey, I know that doing emails without rewriting my homepage and sales page just doesn't make sense. So let's get two done at the same time. This is why these two things have to exist together. In my firm, that is always how it is. People will come for emails and the homepage and the sales page so that they have the full product marketing launch. Because let's face it, we are at the middle of the year in 2026, which means you're analyzing, you're looking like, okay, what happened in my business this year? What can I do differently? How can I go 3 to 4 times harder for the end of the year to hit my Q4 sales quotas? And you're unable to do that without the proper position in the market. You're unable to do that if you're overly relying on ChatGPT. Now, the weakness that most entrepreneurs have is that they rely on ChatGPT because it's like, I'm too busy. I've been doing this for so long. I have clients to serve. I'm having a fun summer. There's stuff I need to do. But if you were to just sit down, maybe for dinner tonight, you sit down and you analyze and say, okay, what is my next go-to-market strategy that's going to be better than the last one? Where do I need to be resourced for this strategy? Where do I need to take profit for my business and invest back in true marketing, true positioning, true messaging and branding, not just graphics, not just what looks cutesy, because what looks cute is nice, but people buy based on emotions, and we can't really convey emotions that easily without words and without stories. This is where storytelling comes in. But of course, it has to be the right story. It can't be a random story, because random stories may get you a lot of followers, more engagement, and it looks fun. People visit your profile. They start to know who you are. That's the awareness phase, the unaware phase of business. But when you want people to be bottom of funnel, aware that you are the solution to their problem, it takes a different type of content where you're introducing the solution. You're telling stories, again, back to the case studies, about clients who have already worked with you, or you're telling stories about the day to day, like, hey, this is what it looked like to work with my client today. We broke down X, Y, and Z. This is how I felt. This is how she felt. Or, hey, I'm going into my office today and I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, but I'm excited to go into the office because this is the impact that we have on X, Y, and Z industries. This is the type of copy and messaging that you need to be telling and writing in 2026, especially at the end of the year, because every year in my firm, we reach this point and literally the doors bust down. Like, people come so much into my firm July, August, September, just through the rest of the year, because people are trying to wrap everything up. They're like, I know I said something at the beginning of the year, but it didn't work out the way that I thought it would. So I want to wrap everything up. I want to perform more data analysis. I want to make sure everything makes sense for my business going into 2027. And by the way, if you are still in business in 2026, congratulations, because not a lot of businesses are making it. And you're going to continue to see the trend in 2027, 2028, as we head up to 2029 and 2030. AI is just putting okay people out of business. Coaches are going out of business. Service providers, this is your lane. If you're a lawyer, if you're a CPA, if you're an anxiety coach, if you're an anxiety consultant, if you're a therapist, if you own a group practice, or if you mentor group practice owners, so you're a group practice owner that mentors other group practice owners, like one of my clients, this is your season because you're a service provider. In this economy, people are paying for interest and experience. They find you through interest media. Shout out to Gary Vee for that video that he did on that. If you listen to it, leave a comment down below, because it was a phenomenal interview talking about how we are no longer on social media. We are in interest media, but then also with interest more on the bottom of funnel side when someone is prepared to make a buying decision and to work with you. That is experience media. That's like, I want you because your experience. I want you because you've already told me your experience. But how can someone desire to work with you if you have not laid out all of your experience in an articulate, wonderful, beautiful way for them to say, yes, this is the person I want to work with because they work with my type of clients, or I see myself in them, or there is someone that I value, the things that they value. This is where your values come into play. This is where your mission comes into play. Some of those corporate guidelines and documentations where they tell you when you first start your business, have a mission statement. Like, these things are actually legitimate needs for you, instead of creating generic copy and content. Right? Listing your values. What do you value in business that other people don't value? What do you value in marketing that other people don't value? What do you value in law that other people don't value? If you're a personal injury attorney, if you're a CPA attorney, what do you value in finance that people don't value? What do you value in real estate in Dallas, Texas that others don't value? This is how you create very specific messaging. This is why I have all of my clients, no matter what service they come into, retainer, VIP days, or the copy system, 20 question framework off the bat. Because we need a new creative brief. The old creative brief from 2024 is not going to work. It's 2026. I'm going to interrogate you and question what's happening in your business, what's happening with your clients, so we can pull that gold from your offers. This is how you have endless content. When you see people that are able to show up every day, send emails every single day, once daily, send emails in all seasons, show up in all seasons. It's not just because they have high energy. It's not just because they just love being online. Typically, it's due to strategy. They've already sat down with all of the details. They have all the case studies. They have all of the minute things that maybe you think don't even matter to tell a story about. Well, they're telling those stories because to get sales and to help somebody trust you along the journey, you also have to show your values and your personality. Like one of my core values throughout the years has been let words do the heavy lifting. Yes, show up on social media, but emails happen through sales, right? No matter what new social media thing comes out. I remember back in 2020, what was that app called? Everybody used it, Clubhouse. I never used Clubhouse, didn't need to because I'm an email marketing specialist. Email is where people show up, but email is not loud. Email is quiet sales. Email is heavy lifter sales. Email is, I can finish this 55K package quietly, but nobody's going to see it on social. So you also have to ask the question, like, do I just really want to be seen on social? But why be afraid to be seen via email? If you're showing up via social, you shouldn't also be afraid to show up via email. If you're on social, show up on email as well. Now, you may feel like I don't know what to write about. That's where the 20 question framework comes into play. That's where sitting with yourself and journaling comes into play before you begin your work that day. Jot down your feelings. What are your clients' feelings? What are they going through? What are they talking about? What industry trends do you see? Because you should have a lot of content and ideas as somebody that's in your business full time. But if you don't, it may be due to exhaustion. You may be burnt out, and that's when it's time to be resourced in the marketing arena, right? You cannot be a one-person marketing department. That never works. It never, ever works. It doesn't even work for me. I hire contractors, copywriters, graphic designers, video editors. I hire and resource especially for marketing. It's very rare that I won't have some type of assistance with marketing. Okay. So this is your season to also take inventory. And if you're like, I just don't know how to do that, go to www.tiffygwrites.ai and I will speak with you, or just hit the link in bio and it says Zoom call application. It's a complimentary session where I talk to you just like I am today, but more in an individualized perspective where you're responding back, right? Asking you, hey, what's been happening in the business? Why do you think you need to pivot? Or where do you think you need to pivot into? Does the data support that? What do you think you should do next? This is where you can get the clarity that you need. And sometimes we're afraid to get clarity because we know we are on a next level trajectory. We're doing something new that we have not done before. I mean, every time you invest in a new area in your business, it feels like that, right? Whether it's video marketing, graphic design, a copywriter, a business consultant, or a new strategy that you're implementing, it feels like, gosh, I have to get over this hurdle. I have to jump over this hill. I have to figure out this mountain. But once you are over the mountain, it's simple, it's easy, and it makes sense. So drop that courage because you're going to need it for the last half of 2026. And understand, you have the power in you right now to make the end of this year the best part of the year, the best part of your years in business that you've ever had before. Okay, I will see you in the next live. If you're interested in the copy system, July 16th, 6 weeks, $1,500. I will see you there.